If you've got competition in a show, you'll do better than any time ever because that competition is there. It challenges you, doesn't it? I always say we don't have competition, we just have other people in the same business.
Right.
And it is so very true. Now guys, I want to show you a couple of things real quick. We know about who our competition is. It was Mattress Firm Competition. Their competition for money. But they filed bankruptcy last month. The mattress business is in huge trouble. I'll be sharing that with you here in just a minute, if I may. Cutco, are they competition? I'm going to show you how they are, more than you can ever imagine. Cab, I believe I shared that with you, if I'm not mistaken, because you guys have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Is Dan Brooks competition? Wait till I show you what Dan Brooks is. This is just a list of some of the features and benefits that we have above and over. There's nobody that can outdo us in features and benefits. Nobody. Brian makes the best product in the world. Yeah. Brian gives new handles and knobs to people that bought the cookware before he was born. We take care of our customers. It costs us a lot of money to do that. There is no other customer service in the world like ours. The mattress company that's showing up says they'll gladly exchange it for another mattress if you don't like it. That makes sense. You don't like this mattress, we'll trade it for another mattress. Now we only have one mattress, but we'll trade it for one you like until we find one you like. In the cookware business, we really don't have any. However, you should hear what they say.
So this is the
you stop that?
where they have their basic sets, right?
Okay, thank you. Okay, now I'll go back to it in a minute. Now listen very carefully. Cutco is a huge competitor. As I traveled the country, I keep my cell phone in my front pocket to where just the video is out. I now have over 30 videos of them telling people that our cookware is all made in the same factory.
Yep.
But ours is the seconds. Theirs is the first. And I'm taking that to my attorney when I get all finished with it, and I've got a long-term plan with it. But I want you to know that every time you butter up to these guys, you think you're buddies, I want you to see what they're saying behind your back. Now, he's going to lie about 10 times. Yes, sir?
Dave, but I think they're taught that from the corporate level.
They're taught that.
It's not the reps. It's not the reps.
They're nice guys, but they're taught from corporate what you're about to see. Now, I'm going to go back up to this, except one other thing before I start this. Just a second, Brittany. He's going to sell a brochure that he says is brand new. Yeah, here's our new brochure for this year. It has an electric skillet on it. We haven't had an electric skillet for 15 years. So they have photocopies of our brochure from 15 years ago. He will tell them that our work set is $7,700. He will tell them we're going to save a lot of money. And when I say, well, I've already bought a set, well, no, or here's the other thing they do. And this, wait till you see this one. We'll go out there and watch the Kitchen show and then come back in and we'll sell it to you at a lower price. Made the same factory, same cookware, except ours is a higher quality. Ted?
I had a trainee in a show 2 years ago, and while I was in the closed, Cutco didn't know she was a trainee. Came up behind her, handed his business card, said where his booth was, and said, "Come see me before you buy. I can get it for you a lot lower price." Right sitting in the show.
Wow.
This is what they will do. Now, why am I getting all these videos? Because I'm going to go see the president of Cutco. I'm going to say, son, you got about 100 people out there telling people we make the same. This is my attorney. We're going to be making you cookware.
Yeah.
Brian, you'll love it. And your grandson probably won't get a raise, but or my grandson probably won't get a raise. But the bottom line is, this is what they say. This is a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but I want you to see what they do. Go ahead, Brittany, if you would, please. I got to go back up one. Yeah, I got it. I've got my brother Michael with me. This is a State Fair, Texas.
This is Craft where they have their basic sets, right? So if you were to buy everything, it's right around $7,000, but they have their different packages, right?
It's all made in the same factory.
Same exact factory. So the factory, they make it for, one factory makes it for 4 different cookware companies, the other makes it for 3. And then each company sends them their standards and what they want it made out of. But it's the exact same waterless cookware, so it's easy to clean, it's easy to use.
Where's the factory?
It's in, the factory's in Wisconsin. for all the cookbooks.
How much is yours?
So the exact same. So our full set is right around $5,800 for everything, compared to like $7,000 if you were to do it for them. And then we have different packages that you can kind of choose from. For instance, I'll show you.
Our set is not $7,000. That's what they're telling us.
Yeah, so here's our basic set, then our family
Notice
set.
they're calling it the basic and family and deluxe set.
Everything that's in here.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
They haven't changed the classic yet.
So the difference between that and kitchen craft is just price?
It's just price. Now they have a couple extra doodads, like put food in, you spin things. So we don't have all the extra doodads and gadgets. It's the pots and pans, mashes, double griddles. But we're comparatively about a third to half the cost.
How much is that set?
That basic set is $1,852.
$1,852.
Compared to the cookware kitchen craft, that same size set is right around $2,400. And then we let you do it over 5 months if you want. 2, 3, or 4.
Every video I've got is identical.
$300, $350. You get it all.
I got one that lasts them too.
Every 30 days. And then if at any point you don't like it, it's cut, go, return it, we refund you.
And they're both made the same factory?
Same exact factory. I know, it's crazy.
So they said theirs is made in West.
Attorneys gonna love this.
Oh my God.
West End.
Yeah.
Not West End, West.
Yeah, West Bend, yeah. Those are where almost all of the cookware stuff is made.
I made the same place.
My brother's there witnessing. My brother doesn't know how bad I can lie.
Oh, I don't know where it comes. I thought originally it was.
That's the complete set.
Yeah, West and then Bend. Don't they make all the too?
They used to.
I think I think you're right. Yeah, back in the day. Now I think they only specialize in certain things. They make large too. I'm not sure of that. I don't want to misrepresent and tell you they do what they did. Oh, so just price alone, it's absolutely a better deal. But then you get the Cutco guarantee on top. Which is just like knives.
Where are you at, Mike?
What is their guarantee?
So they have like a limited lifetime. So if a handle falls off or something like that, you can pay.
This is 50 feet away from Mike Pelch's booth at
As
the
long
State
as
Fair,
they still
Texas.
make that cookware. They changed their handle designs. So if you saw them 5 years ago, their handle designs are different than they are today. Ours, we keep it the same. So 5 years from now, if something breaks, we have the exact
Same handle for 15 years.
Just like all the knives. In fact, we even have our flatware. That's the biggest discount. That's a big ass thing.
Because they don't sell anything but cutlery, but now they're selling
Right.
cutlery.
So they used to be the only US weight flatware that was there. They went out of business. We bought all their manufacturing equipment, and we're the only USA made flatware left. We're the
Only one.
That's made only in New York in our factory. So it's
It's American made, which is good, but the last one is made in America.
Last one made in America, and we're the only one. If it falls in a disposal or gets scratched, we fix or replace it for free. We sharpen it for free. If you lose just a fork or just a spoon, you can buy just the fork, just the spoon. You don't have to buy a whole place setting. And then it's a timeless design. And if you feel them, they're heavy duty, but they're not super heavy. So they're designed for fancy parties or everyday use, whatever you use. One pattern. Yeah, we have one pattern, so that way 10 years from now, if you lose something, we still have it. A lot of flatware companies, they'll make something different every year, right? So check this out.
Ugly too.
How is he videoing that?
Cell phone. Cell phone's in his pocket. Here's the video up.
It's so dated.
So I know that you watched kind of their thing, right? So the wireless cookware, you put it on, it's real easy to pull off, so lift the lid, right? But so there's water in there, and as soon as you kind of mix it around like this, it creates that vapor seal. That's why it goes now pull. Now pull it up.
Yeah.
See how it's stuck?
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
it's always the best and easiest way to cook. And then I'll show you kind of our back.
There was that.
Yeah. What was it?
Are you guys getting this?
Guy with the sign.
It was at the LA County Fair, and so Cutco now does a full cooking show with about 100 seats.
There's another one.
They copied our program to a seat. Copied our demonstration.
So, you remember I showed you this one, right? Kitchen craft, that's one of the ones that y'all were looking at right here. So for their full set of all these pieces is $7,000, right?
Wow.
Now they'll also let you split it up as well. If you were to buy everything Cutco makes, It retails for $53. We do it for $4,700. That's by every piece of cookware that we have. And then
You're telling everybody they're undercutting your price by 50%. Now it ends up
every
about
30 days. Now you can
$200 more than that.
whether you're a millionaire or not. It's no interest, doesn't cost anything extra for you as well. Yeah.
See that brochure from 15 years ago, Cap?
Yeah, so that's the stuff that we don't have. We don't have anything that plugs into an outlet, like a crock pot. We don't have that little spinny, put your food in, curls it for you.
I got the electric skillet.
Electric skillet. We focus on just the things you're going to use every day, cookware, that kind of stuff. So that's the only stuff that we have that we don't have. But the $7,000 price, that's only including this. It's not including these down here.
They're showing.
So if you were to add that on,
And he was giving away some other stuff to go with it.
Yeah.
He was giving away this and this.
yeah. So, you spend $7,000.
Every video I've taken has been this bad or worse.
Yeah.
I got one that you don't want to see.
Or full entire cookware package.
Gloves off the pull the knives
And then I asked him if I should cancel.
Kind of what I was looking at was that.
Was that in the small knife set?
Yeah, no, the basic stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll show you that real quick.
What I do is I tell him I've already bought a set, what should I do? He said, well, I can't tell you.
Yeah, so
if you don't ever cancel it, you can cancel anything you want.
28.
And I can say
We
to you,
also give you all the cooking utensils, stainless steel, so you can use that in the pots and pans. So that's what these are.
do we have time for this, or should I go ahead?
So the handles get matched knives, okay? And so that's only $562. The crazy thing is, if you really wanted these from them, you could buy this set and just purchase those and still spend way less than if you were to buy the small package.
It's the same construction, made in the same factory.
Same made in the same factory, exactly.
Wow.
That's the crazy thing.
That's how he's clasping his hands out, nervous as a pregnant nun.
Craft, wherever, the pots and pans,
Salad stuff.
Salad Master,
They're all made in the
Luster
same place.
Craft.
And Luster Craft.
There's only 2 factories in the whole world that make wireless cookware. So that's why even they just send their specs. I want a 12-inch pan, I want a 10-inch pan. And that's what they custom make for each, but it's all done in the same thing.
Custom make everything for Petco with nothing but the very finest material.
Yeah, I don't know that we have the salad make one here. We normally sit in every year for one of the things and they get you to fill it all out.
Every year they sit down on one of your shows and watch your show and get your brochure.
We ship it to you. You get
So they'll know your prices.
5 months. At the end of 5 months, if you don't like it, send it back. We refund you 100%. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So it's literally, we want you to take it. We want you to use it. We know once you have to know.
After this, my brother said he'd never believe another thing I say.
So today for that middle set, it's only $562. We ship it all out to you. And then it also comes with a video. So even though you sat down and watched it, we give you a video. We show you how to do everything. And then are y'all in the Dallas area?
Yes, most of the time.
Okay. So the cool thing is we also do a cooking class where anyone that gets our cookware locally, we can come out. We'll also show you how to do
dinner
it.
parties all
Show
over
you
the
how
place.
to make an upside
When
down
somebody buys a cookware, they go over and do a dinner for them.
Yeah, we have 14 offices.
Like we should.
Yeah, I've been doing Cutco here for 14 years.
14 years you've
I have a
done
house.
this company.
I have a house in
14 years.
White Rock Lake.
Oh, that's awesome.
I grew up in Coppell, but last couple of years I bought a house in White Rock Lake.
So I already placed an order
Okay.
for the basic set, and I don't know if I can cancel it or not.
So I can tell you a couple things. I'll never tell you that you need to cancel anything else that you ever purchase. But if you feel that, hey, it's a better value, we're saving money, it comes from the same factory, anything you buy at the fair, just like us, you can still cancel. They don't process it. Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes we have customers that they'll buy the biggest package over there, they'll come here, they'll see it, and they find out all that information, and they'll do that and get our stuff instead. Just like the knives, they also
Got
have
this, guys?
right? So we're a knife company, and then because of the waterless cookware, we got into the cookware and then the flatware. So it's all back from that Cutco guarantee. They are pretty much a cookware company only that just sells knives for the extra gadgets or tools. So, but that's the
Prediction number 20.
Think about it, considering it, you're gonna save money, you get more pieces.
It's not competition, it's thieving, it's thievery, it's stealing.
I know that we've been
Every one of them, Sal. Every one except one.
but most
Got over 30.
are not. That's why we're on the History Channel. I know most people don't even know we do
Made in
flatware.
the same factory. What's the name of the factory?
So theirs is in West Bend, and the other one is in Wisconsin. It's called Hot Wisconsin, like cot, like you would sleep on a cot.
Wisconsin, yeah. That's the only two in the whole world.
I have no idea.
So every single one is made
Same place this is.
Yep.
Same building. Same people, better warranty, same quality.
Yeah. And then
Heck,
the price or the basic. But again, that price, this is actually probably a year old. So these prices are probably more than what we're doing now. And we're showing, hey, this is a couple years ago what it was. If you go price it now, it's probably more than that. But ours,
ripped it out.
our whole thing, all of these, more pieces, this comes with 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm going to stop this. It gets worse. He goes on for 14 minutes. Yes, ma'am. Where's Cutco made? Only in New York. Cookware's made for Beetle. Yes. And, oh, Mr. Chuck, do I need any more?
If I could just add real quick, I'm still relatively new, 3-4 years, and I don't know anything about anybody else. And I decided on a drive from one location to another location to go on the internet and get some education. So I called Lifetime. Hey, listen, I'm thinking about my Lifetime cookware. Where's your cookware made? Well, we make it in the United States. Oh, really? All your cookware's made in the United States? Well, some of ours are made, we get the metal in China, and then we bring it over here and we make it. Okay, and called another company, Royal Prestige, and where's your call? Well, first Lifetime, I couldn't get, they wouldn't talk to me unless I talked directly to whoever the rep was. And I told them I didn't know who the rep was, so they sent me to somebody else. But it was hard to get to customer service for Lifetime. So then I called Royal Prestige, and I said, okay, well, you know, where are you at? Well, I'm in Chile. Oh, you have a company in Chile. That's where our call center is. Oh, is that the only place you have? No, we have one in Argentina, we have one in Brazil, and we do have one in Tennessee, a call center. So they have different call centers around. So where is your cookware made? Well, we make it in Italy, and then it gets brought over. So it was a little bit of an education for me to understand where these other companies say they get their metal, where they make their cookware, and where their call centers were, to help me understand our competition.
But you know, Royal Prestige is actually Vietnamese cookware of Italian design. You know,
It's
so
made in Vietnam,
it's made in
and
Vietnam.
Italian design.
You know, it's
They bring it through directly from Vietnam to Madison, Wisconsin. Sadly enough, and unfortunately, they won't disclose that. It's an Italian design.
Are they
just
not
like ready
required
boats.
to tell you the country of origin?
No, listen, I don't want to get you hung up on this. I just want you to be educated to what's going on. Because it gets worse and worse and worse. Yes, ma'am.
When I've worked at some of the shows with the Cutco people and they just set them out, I'll go to the promoter and ask, was that on your contract that they're selling cookware?
Good point.
And when the promoter tells me no, then I say you need to have him put it away.
Do you have cookware on your contract? Are you supposed to be selling cookware at the
That's right.
show?
'Cause
Go
if they
tell the
don't, they
promoter,
didn't
and
pay
it's out of
for
there.
it.
I've had it several times.
I will do it every time now that I see that.
Now, here's a promoter. This is the State Fair of Texas. This is Saladmaster. This is Cutco. They put them right across from each other. It's where we used to be. This is where Cutco Cookware priced us, by the way, which I was able to acquire, and they are probably about 30% higher than us. They're $395 for a 1-quart pan. You can buy it all online. You guys go online, buy all you want to, all day long. This is Cutco. This is Mike Kelch. They're 2 booths away. But then, inside the building, which is called The Craft, here's where the guy with the beard was that I got the video. So he's surrounded, and what are these people saying? They watch the show, then they come over and say, oh, you got cookware too. And that's the response they get. Trust me, these people are not your friends. They're your competition. How should you treat them? Like competition. You should ask them, is this in fact on your contract? You should not be nice to them. You should not let them stay at your house, because they'll steal your silverware. Yes, sir.
I know that I get played. The girl that was beside me, it was Cutco. I moved from a 10x10 to a 10x20. Didn't know I was going to be beside them, so it wasn't planned. But she wanted to walk, and she does the dinner party. She actually sat down, sweet little girl, sat down on my show taking notes.
They're saying you showed that note, Jim.
But she bought the walk. And actually, I bought some knives as well, but
And she, you know, she says, no, y'all's is better, is heavier than ours.
I felt like she was being
seems to
honest,
be
but I was
a better
wondering, did they not make a watch?
Yes. It's a 3.5, blah, blah,
Theirs
blah.
is 3-ply, ours is 7. It's a
But-
different gauge, yeah.
That's not the relevance. The relevance is they're trying to steal your business.
That's right.
It's not like they're being competition.
Oh, you're right.
They're trying to steal your business. There's a big difference. And he's sitting there feeding a bunch of bull.
They
And a
didn't
bunch
have to do
of
the
not
show. We
true.
did the show, we did the work, and they get the deal.
When they're in the show, I've always pulled my knives off if they don't have their cookware out.
Don't do it anymore.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, don't do it anymore. Okay, now, let's go a little step further.
Not for them.
Mattress firm. All the mattress companies are having serious problems. The other problem they're having is their financing. Now all those notes are starting to be called, all those people are being delinquent on their accounts. And we tried financing, it was the biggest disaster we ever had. Our guy that did the financing had 4 out of 6 orders and went back. All right, not to mention the people that he lost when he's sitting over there trying to get their financing through, et cetera, et cetera. We will avoid that as long as we possibly can, but watch this if you would.
The mattress industry is suddenly having nightmares. A good night's rest is getting hard to come by for mattress companies amid a feverish competition for sales. The industry's biggest retailer, Mattress Firm, is closing hundreds of stores after expanding too quickly. A series of acquisitions has left the company with too many stores, and now sales are declining. Making matters worse, a financial scandal at Mattress Firm's parent company is raising the serious prospect of bankruptcy. Meanwhile, online sellers like Casper and Lisa are presenting a serious threat to the business model of traditional mattress sellers and mattress makers like Tempur Sealy and Serta Simmons. But those bed-in-the-box companies face their own problems. Discounts are surging, and that's undermining the financial opportunity for dozens of digital startups that are now selling mattresses online. The upshot for consumers? In the short term, deals are plentiful. But in the long run, that might mean more going out of business sales for the industry. That's what the sleep industry calls a nightmare. I'm Nathan Bowman reporting for USA Today.
Wow.
Good. And it had been asked, and there are some folks that are selling mattresses who wanted their schedules back, and I just want to tell you right now, they're not getting their schedules back. If you've got a schedule, you've got a schedule, okay? And the mattress industry has been so flooded. In fact, I'll show you some other, I think I've got them right here. This is at the State Fair of Texas. It was horrible what they paid. They lost, they're sure you think the 11 days hurt you guys. It spanked them even bigger. And this is what you see. They had 94 salespeople at the Puyallup Fair.
Sleep numbers.
94 people. They had 80, I think, in Texas. Maybe it was 80 at Puyallup and 94 in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And it is just hurting and hurting and going to get hurt even more.
Wait, God.
Just a second. I got it.
My best friend.
Yeah, your best buddy. Okay. Now, thank you, Dean, for taking this picture. Because this picture
I did that? Oh,
yeah, yes, because it will be used in court. Because he literally went over at the Oklahoma State Fair and had an attorney send letters to our people saying that we came into his booth and we tried to take his customers. This is one of the most evil people I've ever met in my life. See that look on his face? Remember that look. Dim the light so they can see it, Mike. Because that is what this guy is really all about. It is absolutely scary. He will cut his mother's throat. He has absolutely no conscience whatsoever. And this was a private investigator that we sent. And I want you to watch this very closely. I think I can make it play again.
Thank God. That's yesterday, kitchen crap. So she said we have, the only way we can get a set while we're here today, because she's paying for it, is if we go on both shows.
Now, here's the thing about the other people.
Yeah.
They will not, they don't have this. They won't use it, they don't have it. Okay? They do not have detachable handles. They do not have 12 layers. Listen to this. I would like to show people this. That product, it looks like this. It's basically 90% aluminum.
Oh, wow.
This is 90% steel. Okay, ours is. Listen to this. You scratch on the top of theirs, you're going to eventually get down to aluminum. You cannot. This whole part right here is stainless steel. Listen to this. This is what theirs sounds like. This is what ours sounds like. It is way different. And look at the difference in the color of the steel. You can tell the difference in the color of that steel. Now, he's probably doing a show right now. You can run over there if you want to, go watch it. is shorter, and they can't cut directly into the pan. They don't have the same combs that we have. They don't have this part right here either. Theirs is a lot cheaper version of it. So here's my recommendation, guys. I never worry about if somebody watches their show. They will do vegetables. They will fry an egg in here with a whole bunch of grease. Oh, look how impressive that is. They've got a lot of grease in there. You don't have to do that with this one. So if you want to, do that. Just hide that though. Okay. So that he doesn't see that. It's fine by me. And by the way, now this would stay here with me. Okay. I got to stay this way here. Now keep something in mind. Your mom, she got that set yesterday. Okay. Maybe she doesn't need all those extra things. Maybe she doesn't care she has to move on this side. Either way it goes like that. But I would highly recommend go watch. Trust me, you're gonna see the difference here. All right. Now everybody, I'm gonna be doing one more show today. And by the way, when I do my next show, okay?
I don't know what kind of drugs he's taking, but it's serious stuff. Watch his actions.
Come back over here. Catch the beginning of it. My last show comes up at 5 o'clock. That's it. My last show. Don't ask me about to do it. But here's the thing, though. If you come back, I will stay to guess what. Even if there's more people here, I'll still make sure I stay here. Okay? Now, everybody else, we're going to do it next week, guys, at 5 o'clock.
Can you imagine him going into this a little deeper in the show? I've now paid 6 private investigators to get this information. And it's been identical each and every time.
Mike, I'm sorry. The thing you may have noticed on the screen, his next demo is at 5 o'clock. It's 3:30 right now. So he's more worried about telling you how good and how bad we are. And it's taken an hour and a half to start this business. Well, you guys already finished another demo.
Mike, come up here and talk to us for a minute. I believe this is your egg demonstration. By the way, real quick, come on up please, Mike. I want you to understand that this guy will come to your booth and he'll try to befriend you. Am I right?
Yes.
He'll try to tell you, oh, well, you know this and this and this. He will lie to you like a rug, and I would say that to his face. He's a lying scoundrel, and he will cancel your order in a heartbeat, as you can probably see very clearly. Yes, sir, Cap?
Let everyone know he used to work with us.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Tell everybody he used to work with us.
Yeah, he used to work for us.
So he actually threw Mark Tamaris under the bus up there. Where were we at, Mike? Help. We were working somewhere, oh goodness, I can't remember, but he threw Mark Tamaris.
He would be in a show with us when he worked with us, and he would say, by the way, go by and tell Dean that you bought the set from and tell him I'm the better looking chef. This is a guy that broke out and stripped off down to his underwear at his daughter's wedding. He has got the most pathetic, unbelievable ego of any person I've ever known in all my life. It's just absolutely, it's just unbelievable. Point being, he'll be at a show. Yes, sir, Mark?
One of the things that some of us miss is all these people that are around here that are your friends. You may not know this, but they are friends to him, and they are friends to a lot of these other cookware people. And if you're having a wonderful show, and you're doing a great job, and you give them all the information, they take that same information and they go back to Lifetime and Royal Prestige and Cutco. They give them that information, and the following year they will be in your show 5 aisles over from you or 3 aisles over from you doing this right here. Do not give anybody any information what we're doing out there. It's important. It's
food.
important you keep it among yourselves.
Other vendors, the promoters.
It's okay. Other vendors, yeah. Okay. Don't you ever, by the way, you're in a non-disclosure contract, guys. You don't disclose nothing to nobody because they will come back and use it against you. Yeah. Now, I know this is somewhat redundant because we talk about this every year, but it just keeps happening. Then you call them and say, hey, what happened? We had a location, why did we lose it? Then they come in and pay exorbitant amounts to get the exclusive to get us out like they did last in South Carolina.
Dave, one quick thing. I know we're taught, if other vendors come over, to say, how's your show going? Even if you're having the worst show in the world, we all say we're having the best day ever, right? We all do that. Positive, positive, positives. I made a big mistake in Latson, which we're talking about right now. Yep. I had this, well, it was supposed to be a terrible booth, and what happened, the competition snuck in, took the spot in the brand new building, and I was put in their spot, and I felt terrible for them every year because I walked by to this building and I'd see them sitting there and they were complaining constantly, and I just thought, oh, this is such a horrible spot. So now I'm in that spot, and I'm super upset about this, and you were upset too. Leslie was upset, everyone was upset. And I find out from the other vendors around me, this guy wasn't doing demos. He just sat there and complained all day, you know? And so I started doing demos, feeding my neighbors, which he never did. And I started selling lots and lots of cookware. And so the promoter comes over, and I'm naturally saying, I'm having the best show ever. But I learned a very valuable lesson. You don't do that. Because you can talk to the other vendors that way, but don't talk to the promoters, because that can hurt us.
And I never raved out Tim. I said, Tim, no, never tell the promoter you're doing good. Because guess what they do? They raise your rent. What do they tell their competitor? Oh, I hear Steve over there is doing really, really good, guys. How are you guys doing? Oh, well then I need that location. Well, I say, as a matter of fact, they were going to give $20,000 to Lassen for an exclusivity to keep us out. It's not that we do any better, we just work harder, we work smarter. And they all try to figure out what we do, but they're not here. This is why these meetings are so important, people, in this learning experience, because you're learning things that they're not learning. You're getting ammunition they don't have. You're learning to not let them in your booth. You're learning the value of the testimony and what we're doing with these testimonies. That's why we don't disclose any of this to anybody, even somebody that sells something else, because then they are buddies with them. They share the information, and lo and behold, they know every move we make. They're sitting back right now waiting for Dave Hurley to make the next move, because they have about as much originality as the Chinese. Chinese have no originality, no creative skills whatsoever. They won't make the efforts that we make. So remember that, keep it to yourself. It's our business, it's your business, and we want to protect it. Mike, if you would please.
Tell me about the So this is kind of a twofold that we did with this. We actually ordered, this is Cuisinart, so we ordered it off of Amazon to kind of do a couple tests to find out about their warranty. We wanted to call the customer service if we had a problem. Actually just to be able to let you guys know what the difference is of when they buy this offline, who is there to support them in the meantime. So in time at the office, I said, well, why don't we compare the two, ours against theirs. It's stainless steel and it's got a lifetime warranty. So we did an egg. And you can go ahead and start playing it.
This is Cuisinart?
This is Cuisinart, yes. Through Amazon. So we did butter first. And you'll see as we put it on there, as we were doing this, I actually had Gloria, and she's going to come up and tell you exactly how the phone call went because my egg stuck. That's your cue. No, but they can watch it as it goes. But we did it with butter and also with the olive oil spray.
Well, the first time I called, the lady said, you know, how did you use it? And I said, well, I put a little butter in it, but my head keeps sticking, I can't figure it out. Well, you ruined your payment. I'm like, well, teach me how to use it, I don't know what to do. And she said, well, don't put nothing. I said, so if I put nothing, it's gonna work. It's not, my egg's not gonna stick. No, ma'am, it's not gonna stick. I said, so now that I put it in my pan, what can I do? Just keep using it, nothing. I said, I can't send it back. No, can't send it back, just keep using it. So then I called back and I said, well, I sprayed a little bit, I didn't use anything in it now, okay? And I don't know if my egg is sticking. Well, put some butter or a little bit of olive oil in it. But here's to say, they weren't much help. I can't send it back with a lifetime warranty. There was nothing I can do, just keep sticking eggs.
So this one is with the, it actually was worse with the olive oil spray. And it just, the bottom of it, you can see got that brown, and I know if you ever taste it, it's hard, it doesn't taste good at all. You can see, I held this thing up and it stuck like there was no tomorrow with it. The first place we went was Amazon to do the return. They didn't have anything for us, they told us to call the manufacturer. And continuously didn't get anything from the manufacturer. This is, of course, ours.
Yeah.
And you can see that the timing, the way it heated up was so much more even.
So you kept everything the same, basically, but you used less. Everything was the same? You just same heat, everything, okay.
Same exact heat and everything was identical.
Butter.
This one
Thank you, Matt. By the way, we experiment with stuff all the time, trying to give you guys the very, very best tools we possibly can, but you're going to be hearing about some tools in just a little bit. Yes, Cheryl?
Are you allowed to put that on our testimony stuff, or are we not?
No, we're not going to put it, because we're not going to do that. We're not going to be a Dan Brooks. We're not going to be a Cutco.
Exactly.
People come up and say, what's the difference? Ma'am, they're both excellent products. Let me show you the difference between theirs and ours.
Right.
Okay, what do you think he done when he started all that bad mouthing? He took about 10 people and sent them to our booth. Our booth, they come over and they watch Dean. I guarantee he's still cooker for you that day, so let him mouth you. Be close to your friends and closer to your enemies. Yes, ma'am?
One of the things they will do, and we've been doing this a long time, they will come into your shows on a slow day, and they will send their salespeople, and they'll just come sit right down. So that's why it's important to know who's in the other booths. And if you see them, if you're working by yourself, it's kind of hard. You have to really wait until after the demo. But if somebody's working with you, they can tap them on the shoulder and say, excuse me, can I have a word with you? Yeah. And I just say, sorry, you're working with Cutco, you're in direct competition with us, so you cannot sit in our show. And if they give me any words back, I just say, fine, I'll just go and talk to the show management, and that stops it right there. And I have done that. The one that, gave the card one time, went to the show management because he started giving me mouth, and I said, it's very obvious the way you're talking that you have not been doing this very long. Because I said, it is very serious when you do what you did, coming into our booth and giving someone a card like that. I said, they will put you out of the show so fast, you won't even know what happened. So I said, I'm through talking to you. I'm going to the management. I went to him, told him, and he says, are you telling me that he crossed 2 rooms to get you? I said, that's what I'm saying. And he said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of this. And he put him out of the show. So it's serious. When you come into a show, you just work in your own booth like it's the only one. And it is like, to me, it's lower than a snake's belly for you to come looking for your service in someone else's booth. Detested.
And Ryland has cookware too, by the way.
Thank you, Brenda. By the way, Cutco's great knives.
Yes, they do.
I was the biggest Cutco distributor in the entire world for 15 years back in my college program. They don't need to be in the cookware business bad-mouthing us under any circumstances. Royal Prestige is totally Chinese-made. It's a horrific product, and we just happen to have one of the top reps in Royal Prestige that just finished training with us up in New York. And said, I got tired of lying to people, quote unquote. She's a $750,000 a year producer, okay? Let's go down a little bit further. Vendors say they're doing well, and promoters raise the rent. The competitor comes in and says, same with us. We're making a lot of changes. We're no longer going to tell promoters that we're doing well. We're only going to say, oh, it's okay. I'm no longer participating in the International Association of Fairs and Expos. Did not even attend this year for the first time in 30 years. It was last week. Why? They keep raising the rent. And they keep saying cookware is in a sponsorship category. What do you mean it's a sponsorship? The only way you can be here is with a sponsorship. By the way, Dean, Mr. Brooks will not be invited back to the South Carolina State Fair because I showed you. Brenda, you're exactly right. If you go to manager and it's very nice, say, guys, could you help me out just a little bit? And boy, they're all emotionally upset. For whatever reason, this guy keeps coming over to our booth and he keeps asking us questions. And how many times did he come over to your booth, Chuck or Monica or whatever at the Oklahoma State Fair? Because they can't handle our competition because they know that we're better than that. They can only work independently. That's why he was having such a fit. He was so nervous right here, okay, which is a wreck. And I give this example. What if you put your hand into a bucket and there was 3 poisonous snakes and 3 that weren't poisonous? Would you do it? That's what happens when you talk to competition. Really? And I was going to have you guys write down. Tell me one benefit from knowing how somebody else is doing it. If you would do this every show, there is none. There is none. Yet what's the first thing you do when you bump into a competitor or another? Hey, how's it going? Now, what is your response? What is theirs? Is anybody going to win from that? You got to avoid it. If you don't avoid it, it will eat up. It absolutely will positively get into you. And this is the the tribes, the they says. Now, you've heard about this before. How many of you have heard about the they says? For those who have not, I want to share it again. Well, they say that things are bad here in Oklahoma City. Excuse my French, but who in the hell is they? Who is they? The they says. Everything is they say. Well, they say that this, and they say that, and they say this is a bad show. Well, they say this has been a bad show for years. How many of you have heard that? You know, the they says. Then there's this other tribe. This is my favorite one of all. Well, the what ifs. What if it rains or comes? Or what if this, or what if that, or what if, how many people know that just everything is a what if? Well, yeah, but what if? The yeah, but what ifs, when you put them together, you got a really bad tribe of deadly Indians. Then there's these guys, the yeah buts. The what ifs and the yeah buts, and the they says. Have you ever heard it? And you come up and say, hey man, this looks like a great show. Well, yeah, but. How many of you have heard that? The yeah buts. Not only in our shows, but in life. Well, I hear you guys are going to beat that team. Well, yeah, but. I hear that they're going to win the series. Yeah, but. That's why all you're going to get is these tribes. And then the last one, this is the one because I would sit there and say, man, this looks like a great show. Well, yeah, but, well, no, wait, no, I didn't say anything about your budget. But it's fine. I said, this is going to be a great show. Well, yeah, but what if it, no, there's no what ifs here. And then this is the last tribe.
And they do it on the...
Miss Hurley, you just don't understand. You just don't understand. You're not here. Yes, I am here. The only thing wrong here is you. Because it's 100% right here. If you go in there with the right attitude, you stay away from these tribes, you'll have an amazing show. Because that's your competition. Most of your competition, you know, is right here within yourself. Would you agree, Tanya? Everybody say hi, Tanya. She just showed up a little while ago from Texas. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Tanya. Woo! This gal is rocking and rolling, and she is more fun than a barrel of monkeys, and she never stops smiling. And she went to an alternative school teachers reunion and did 10,000 in sales right there in her backyard. An alternative school, which is for homeschoolers.
Homeschoolers, that's right.
Guys, we need to be at more of those types of shows, which we're going to talk about later. We're changing our whole format. The home show ain't what it used to be. Some of them are great, some of them are not. We're finding better places where there's better people, okay? We'll talk about that later. So what do you do when the tribes come into your booth?
Hi and bye.
Hi and bye. Hi. Get them out. Because they were sitting there. And guess what happens if you participate? Now they do like the guy, I was walking down the street last night, and the guy came over as a baker, and he said, hey man, and the guy was with me, said, hey, how's it going? Next thing you know, the guy's got his arms around him trying to pickpocket him. And this is exactly what will happen. You've got to stay, keep them away. I'm sorry.
I call it time.
Now, I tell you what I do. They know better. When I did shows, guys, they go, oh, God, there's Early. Don't say anything. But they knew I knew how to eat them up. They knew how I would defeat them with positive. Yeah. Health statistics, guys, this is scary. The problems in America have got worse and worse and worse. What obesity epidemic. The statistics I won't even go into. I'll share copies of this with you and send them out to you in the newsletter of some of the things that are happening with our health in this country. Today, the millennial wants to be healthier than anybody else. If there's anything that you need to put emphasis on, and again, if you ever watch Brett Coleman's, Cat Banfield's, Tim Martin's, their whole show is about health and nutrition. They don't sell cookware. They sell better health. Health is becoming one of the biggest problems we've got in this country. I have the obesity deluxe, please. And folks, I hate to say it, but right here in Memphis is some of the worst. And I think maybe it's the barbecue, I don't know. Now, with great tasting food. I know the cook. I tell you what, I have a monumental birthday coming up next month, and I don't know of an 18-year-old in this world that can keep up with his cat. And I tell you, I guarantee you, it is so much about eating as much right as I possibly can. Now, I have to travel sometimes. Now, I have gained a pound. I weighed the exact same thing when I came out of the Marine Corps in 1968. Now, I got to move something. That's the hard part. Gravity is the son of a gun. But I really can honestly say that it works. If you eat right, cook right, I take zero medication. I got my flight physical here about a month ago, and he said, why'd you even get it? I mean, perfectly healthy. My heart rate I could sell, my blood pressure is perfect. And I'm guaranteeing you, it is because of diet and eating right. I cook every meal that I possibly can, I cook at home. It does make a difference. Now, vegetables, the food, the fibers, etc., etc. How many obese people did we see in Japan, Kevin, so far? Didn't happen. Guess what they eat? Guess what they eat? Okay? This, as a matter of fact, oh, here's another big thing. I put this in here because I don't have time to go there, but it's the Food Prepping Sunday. And it's something I would like to do is to be able to show people how to buy the groceries on Sunday, prep everything, and then have all the meals ready to cook through the whole week. That's become a big movement now. Food Prepping Sunday, they put it all together to where they don't come home and try to figure out what they want, etc., etc. Eating is, again, not a fad. In fact, if you think about it for just a minute, and this is kind of going towards the end of what I want to share with you. And this is my favorite part. I'm the kind of guy, some people look up in the sky and all they see is clouds. I see so far beyond the clouds. I see beyond the universe. I'm a visionary, okay? I'm a forward observer in Vietnam because I can see things out there that other people couldn't see. And I can see things that really make perfectly good sense. And I wonder, why did God do things the way He did things? I always question that. I can't wait to be in line, Ted, and your book is so amazing. I can't wait for you to share that. What's the name of it again? It's a
Storytime in Heaven.
Storytime in Heaven. And I have an application for heaven. All right, who do you not want to see her? Whoops, you ain't getting in. What religion are you? Whoops, you're not getting in. Who did you forget to forgive before you left? Whoops, you're not getting in. So I thought, why did God make us have to eat? Because this great creator could have created us any way that He wanted. Wouldn't you agree? And He could have created us with the ability not to have to eat. Moss. There's a lot of plants that don't need food. And what if all of a sudden we just, we breathe our energy and our nutrition? You got that, guys? All right, now I want you to imagine that God did everything for a purpose. Everything is for a reason and for a purpose. And if we did not have to have food or cooking or eating, I want you to imagine what the world would be like. First of all, how many of you have seen this video?
My favorite.
I'm going to show it to those who have not.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on His planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. I need somebody with arms strong enough to wrestle a calf and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to call hogs, tame cantankerous machinery, come home hungry, have to wait lunch until his wife's done feeding visiting ladies, then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon and mean it. So God made a farmer. God said I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, and dry his eyes and say maybe next year. I need somebody who can shape an axe handle from a persimmon sprout, shoe a horse with a hunk of car tire, who can make harness out of hay, wire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, who planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, and then painting from tractor back put in another 72 hours. So God made a farmer. God had to have somebody willing to ride the ruts at double speed. You got the hay in ahead of the rain clouds, and yet stop in midfield and race to help when he sees the first smoke from a neighbor's place. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend the pink-combed pullets who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. So God made a farmer. It had to be somebody who would plow deep and straight and not cut corners. Somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk and replenish the self-feeder and finish a hard week's work with a 5-mile drive to church. Somebody who would bail a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing, who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer.
The #1 commercial in the history of the advertising industry. Does anybody know what they were advertising? Dodge trucks. But did you understand that's also your show? That's your demonstration? You're not selling pots and pans. You're selling a lifestyle. You're selling a dream. You're selling something that can, all those testimonies and the things that you've seen, that you hear each and every day in each and every demonstration, when somebody comes up and goes on and on about how you change their lives, that's what you're really selling. And if you don't think about how important what we're doing is, I've got to take you into, if God had made us to where all we had to do was breathe, and we didn't eat, there would be no agriculture. You think about it. How about your drive over here? What if there were no farms? What if it was all just dried up, there was no conservation, there was no nothing, just fields, empty fields, burn out. No land, no food, no life. And, wow, think about downtown. Your supermarkets. Think about it, just a minute, the grocery stores. Think about all the things that's evolved around eating and what you do, the final process of cooking the food. The very last thing that touches the food. The only thing that really touches the food other than your hands, you wash them, you want them clean, but is the cook whether they're cooking out of clean or not? Is it toxic or whatever? What if all the grocery stores were gone? Now imagine driving down your hometown and there is no need for food, there's no need for cooking, there's no need for eating, and then imagine what it's like, no restaurants. Wow. No restaurants, all closed. Imagine your town with no restaurants. What would Main Street be like? With no restaurants, no grocery stores? It'd be a clothing store. Maybe a hardware store. And then there's your house. No kitchen. No dining room. No bathroom. Think of all the things that are so important to us that evolve around cooking in the home. And then think about the family. How many of you had Thanksgiving here a few weeks ago? Wow. Why don't you have Thanksgiving every week? Because you think about it, the only time there is a time of the day, this was in every show I ever gave, every demonstration I ever gave, I said, what is the only time, if there is any time, that your family is together as a family? When is it? At the dinner table. Why not make it a memorable occasion? And I've had videos and watched people go like this. And that was the people that would buy my cookbook, the ones that agreed, why not make it a memorable occasion? Why not have the right tools to cook this food, cook it right, eat it right, etc., etc. That's what we do. Wow, no birthday cakes. No wedding cakes. Think about how much evolved around the fair if you took food out of the fair. What would you have?
That's the #1 reason people go to fairs, is the food.
They go to the fair for the food, to be able to eat something they shouldn't eat, just once a year. But what if there was no food at the fair? Now wait a minute, there's no agriculture either. There's no cows, chickens, pigs. There's no farmers. What would a fair be?
Mattresses and cookware.
It'd be a carnival at best. Good thing is you're not going to regurgitate and get sick because you didn't eat anything. And then, I thought about this for just a second. What about the doctor in the medical world? Most diseases are diet related. So what's the first thing the doctor tells you when you go to the doctor? You got a problem. Okay, here's what you need to do. First of all, you got to stop eating this, got to stop eating that. You got to change your diet, and this and that, etc., etc. But if there was no diet, man, think about how much of our whole entire life evolves around cooking and eating. Did you know they've now proven over 1 trillion smells? 1 trillion things that we can identify, that we can smell. Over 1 trillion. How many of them are food? Most of them. How many of you still remember what it smelled like at Grandma's house when she was cooking? You could smell her chicken and dumplings, you could smell everything. All the sensitivities of our life and the things that go on. Whoops, gotta go back up here just a minute. What you're doing is making a difference in people's lives each and every day. Imagine if it didn't happen. What if we didn't have to eat? What type of world would we live in? So we think about how every day they sit down And that lady goes into her kitchen, she brings out her pans, and she starts cooking. And what does she see at the very top? Kitchen crab. Who does she think of? You. And that's why they want to come back and see you year after year after year. They want to come back and tell you how good that pot roast came out, how good that chicken was, how good those beans were. Tell me something else in your house that somebody uses any more than their cookware that would give them any greater memories. Tell me something. Tell me something that would give you more family memories than what we're doing. There is nothing. Your bed sheets? How many of you bought some of those Indian sheets? They fall apart 6 weeks later. Second time you wash them. What else would ever have any more effect on people than the food we prepare on the tables? Okay. Leslie and I have been working very closely on identifying new things. New subject, guys. Shows. And this is, where are they? Okay. This is where Jason did his 17,000 and 2.5 demos, what have you. Notice, if you will, please, he's got a sign that says Pilot Diet Cooking Show. And this was in a tent outside. We usually do $30,000, $40,000. This is the EAA fly-in. And Sal rocks and rolls there. You've been there for, what, 3 years now? Yeah. 3, maybe 4 years, something like that. Bottom line, think about the people that came to the EAA fly-in versus the people that came to your last home and garden show. And the difference. Totally different. Now, there's a lot of wonderful home shows out there. Brett and Lena did 85,000 at a home show. I will not tell you where. Okay? And I remember, Brett, if you remember back 10, 12 years ago, we were doing that pretty commonly. Matter of fact, remember the NEC shows out in California stood for Nobody Ever Comes? There was nobody at the show. But the people, if you remember, you probably did some of those out there as well, Stuart, the people would come in and they, you know, we would get them to sit down, et cetera, et cetera. The attention span of the people at a home show today is the lowest level I've ever seen. I've never seen people work so darn hard to get people to sit down. Now, it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean it won't happen. It doesn't mean you can't do it, but you better be darn good. Where interestingly enough, where you're at a specialty show, guess what? They're there with specific interest. So we're looking at and booking more into specialty events. This is Dan and Amy at the Lobster Festival. They did 18,000 in a day and a half. That's Cheryl in Mount Dora, Florida, who did, I think it was about 18,000 at that one little, whatever it was, show.
That was not in a good location.
And that was in a horrible location. Yeah, we got a better location there now. And we're doing more and more festivals. Another thing that's happened, and this was out of order just a little bit, but this is ridiculous. This is State Fair of Texas. Now you got to get 22 coupons for a funnel cake with a fruit topping. That's $11 for a funnel cake. Holy, gone crazy, Batman. Well, I'm going to talk about that for just a minute. I was at the Puyallup Fair, and we surveyed some people playing dumb. How's the fair? Oh, it's fine, but it's not like it used to be because now they charge $15 to get in. We're not coming back. I'm going to the Midwest Fairs Association meeting to tell them, guys, you need to make some adjustments. If you're going to charge that kind of money, you better give these people an experience. Why do you think the attendance is down? Because the millennials don't go because it's not an experience. At a special event, they get an experience, something that's of interest to them. And they're tired of paying $11 for a funnel cake. We're no longer sponsoring scholarships to the IFE. Why? Because they all now say we should pay sponsorship to be able to be at their show. How about Deerfield? Was it Deerfield?
That's not my fair.
Let me think, who was that? Just a second. I was thinking it was Tim. Said we found it was a sleeper. I went to their reviews. It says the best family event in the world. They only charge $6 to get in. We can afford to steal this. We can afford to do that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then the rides are up to like $7 and $8 a piece now to ride one of those things. You get sick. So a lot of things are changing in the world, and we want to change with it. And they say, well, wait a minute, you're going to take away? No, we're not taking anything away. We're just finding things that aren't working, we're replacing with things that will work. Here's the other problem. Why is a home show having challenges? Well, again, a lot of them do great. The HBA are the best. Because the Home Builder Association, which they're coming back, and Leslie, how many shows a week do we have that just, they stop the show, they stop doing it?
A lot.
Every week. Shows that we've done for years, they just know they're not producing it again. Because they weren't making any money. Here's why they're not making money, guys. And this is a full circle coming from your forward observer. If you were going to produce a home and garden show, how would you advertise for people to come to it? Newspaper? When's the last time you read a newspaper? Radio? I got you. Now, how many stations are there now on Siri? TV? How many 500 stations on TV are you going to advertise on? How can you capture the attention of the consumer today that all they do is sit there and do this?
Facebook.
Social media. Who's the primary that's doing this? Kids. Who's coming to the fair? Kids. So the fair is saying their attendance is up, but it's not up with the right people. Now, I'll take that all back. You go to certain fairs, and we're talking about agriculturally driven fairs, Iowa, Nebraska, Puyallup. They do such an amazing job. Even if you walk to this day, they advertise it. There's billboards all over. Am I right, Mr. Monet?
Yes.
Everywhere you look, you see a billboard. Do the Puyallup, do the Puyallup, do the Puyallup. Certain ones are good. Some of them, they're losing it. They ain't got it, so we're not going back to the Montana State Fair. And that's out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing else to do there. But all they're getting is just the social media people. How many of you go someplace because of social media? Not very much. My own son said, my kids have never been to the Lake County Fair, and they went 4 times out of 8 days. That's a little fair in Mount Dora, Florida. Why? Because somebody on social media said, we're going to meet at the fair. So what do they do? They go to the fair. So, with these changes, all of this will change back, but right now we're making changes and we're looking into different types of shows. Festivals, for example. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the lines of people at festivals, but when you go to a festival, you make the experience fun, right, Charlie? That's what you did with the Watermelon Festival, if I'm not mistaken. And I take this back and I say to you, is it any harder or any easier than it was 45 years ago? Right here on this street mark is where we sold the lady in the wheelchair and the guy on the moped. That's forever and ever ago. Lustercraft in a tent, and we'd have the girls come up and register, and I would have somebody paid to do this. There's something about this that draws people. Watch. So you go over there, and I'd go over there and start filling a couple of them out myself. My brother would come over and fill them out. Next thing you know, everybody's coming over and filling them out. Next thing you know, we got people coming in, they're picking it up, and away we go. This is at the Maricopa Home Show. I think, Brett, you guys did the Maricopa Home Show. This is outside in a cart, in a tent, and I had $92,000 in sales in 2.5 days. This is with 8 bar stools. I literally was pumped up, I was fired up. I had just finished the Puyallup Fair, actually. I'm bringing the cart back. And then I had to go to the San Antonio Dietitians Conference, et cetera, et cetera. But leave me alone. You give me a booth to turn me loose, guys, I'm a monster, I'm an animal. I would love to take a booth and go out there and just rock and roll and have it happen, because I give it 110%. I'm the Elvis of the cookware business. I go out there with passion. And you know what? Nothing has really changed in 45 years. They still buy for the same reason. There's different people. There's different situations. Matter of fact, this is so old that guess who was across the street from me when I was at this particular show? And we put up a big sign that said it was a cookware war. And we were selling it at cost, whatever we had to do, because Royal Prestige was across the street from us 45 years ago, cutting orders like crazy. They would literally follow the girls, the guys down the street and tell them, hey, listen, come back here and I'll do this for you, et cetera, et cetera. So nothing really significant has changed, folks, except the consumer has changed. And you need to change your script and to be able to comply with them and give them what they need. They need an experience. They need the same excitement that I gave them 40 years ago. The same excitement that I gave them 20 years ago. I think that was 20 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. When I do the OIC, tomorrow, for those who want to come in, we're going to do an OIC at 6 o'clock in the morning. Bring your coffee if you want to, if you got time, if you don't feel like, that's fine. Nobody will be judged because there are or aren't you wrong. Basically, just put myself up here 20, 30 years ago, show you this is what I did then. This is what will still work today. And I can prove that to you time over time with several people that's in this room right now. Are you a thermostat or are you a thermometer? Are you setting the conditions or are you telling what the conditions are? Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. on Tuesday and Wednesday morning for special training. Anybody would like to come in? And I'm going to just basically show you why I do what I did.
Right here?
And be able to see. Pardon?
Right here?
Right here. Right here, Rob?
You want to do the hospitality room?
Not enough room.
Okay, we'll be right there.
We do it right here. That way we'll have the PA system and I can stop it. And Brittany, I'll need to be over Mike, whichever one of you can be here. I need to stop and go. I will stop every 2 to 3 seconds. Because every 2 to 3 seconds there will be something that you can learn from what I learned for many, many years of falling down on my face. How did I learn how to improve it? I watched videos. I have over 1,000 videos of myself doing demonstrations. And I don't like it. Then it's painful to watch. But I would sit there on Monday and I'd sit there and watch and say, what did I do wrong? How could I improve? Why did that couple leave? And by going back and watching it, I was like the private investigator. I could see, wow, there's where I lost them. I lost them in price, or I lost them at, they weren't interested in this, or they weren't interested in that, and I didn't give them enough attention. I didn't turn to the left. I didn't give them what they needed. I was giving all the attention to the right. You notice I've been trying my ever-loved best, but I'm not giving enough attention to that corner right back there, and I know that. And it's because I'm right-handed. So I have to force myself to come over to this side. All these little things is what I'm going to try to share with you tomorrow, if at all possible. Now, in the year 25, how many of you know this song? I won't play it for you. But it is happening. If you understand what I mean. Everything is changing. But people are still the same. They still want the same thing. They still want the excitement. They want the value. They want to eat. They want to cook. And in this video, it says in the year 2525, you're seeing so many of these things that are actually happening. They're taking place. But guess what people still want to do? They're going back home. They're cooking again. They're wanting to get rid of their cell phones. They're wanting to connect with people. So we have to be able to connect with them. And we got to use every tool we've got. Now, I hope I'm correct, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that Mr. Nicholas, oh, wait a minute to win it. Gloria, what is our minute to win it? Okay, come on up. Now, just a second. While they're bringing that up, if you don't mind. I've never worked harder in all my life is what I'm working on today. To try to give you the solutions that you need. They're harder to find than ever before. But I know what worked before still works today. And the other thing that we've got to do, we've got to get everybody on the same script. We've got to get everybody with the same look in their booth. We've got to build the brand that we have. Kitchen Crafts has become a household name. People know it, they come back, they say this, but we've got to get everybody in here working together and using the same fundamental things that we used years ago when Cab started, when the Coleman started, and et cetera, and Ted and Brenda. Ted and Brenda does the exact same demonstration that he did 20-some years ago, with only the alterations. So, man, we've got to shorten it up to keep their attention. So we're not going to change the whole thing, we're going to change the little things that will make a difference for the new consumer. And trust me, I'm doing everything I can to give you what you need. One of those things is the 3-day cancellation. One of those things is less sets, less confusion. Simpler and easier to understand. We got about 8 different things that we're going to recommend that you make changes to help you thrive and be where you want to be. Ms. Gloria.
Okay, let's get some energy. Okay, 3 people that have never told me no anytime I call. Cheryl? Kim Perry?
Kim Perry, Cheryl, they've never told you no.
Mark Damaris? Come on, don't be shy, come on. Okay. The object is no hands. And you're going to get these ping pong balls out of this, off of your back.
your
the N or
string.
the O, you understand, right? I'm gonna get rid of it.
Ken, I'm on your team. Ken, you can do it. Ken, come on, Ken!
There is a prize at the end.
It's these ribbed
Ken!
abs.
Your hands, shake it, Ken.
No hands.
Salsa dancer, Ken.
Your box is twisted.
Show me the salsa, Ken.
Yeah, right?
You want the whole face of that?
Yeah.
We're supposed to get it into there or out.
You gotta get it out of your box.
Ken, come on, Ken. Come on, Ken. Oh, Ken's winning!
All right, turn around. You gotta get these balls out of this hole
Salsa, Ken.
with no hands. Hands in the air, hands in the air. All right, Brittany.
Don't care. Go, Ken!
Ken's done. Yeah, Ken's done. You're done, Ken. Oh.
He's been done for 30 seconds. He was number one.
Hey, Nicholas, you're gonna have to follow this house. I think that makes Cheryl the winner, I'm not positive.
Green tickets, green tickets. Oh, green tickets, and a tissue box, and a tissue box.
Now that I made it
That was really good.
So what was the point of this?
I think you did too.
What did this actually?
Yeah.
You actually finished with some balls intact.
Part of the team. Part of the team.
Gloria?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Cam brought something. Okay. Cam brought something to my attention
Thank you, guys.
during our break. Thank you, Gloria, that was amazing. And I think she had an unfair advantage, what do you think, guys? Women have better wiggle than guys. You know, we just can't. Have you ever seen a hula dancer guy? Or a belly dancer guy? Jiminy Cricket. Cam brought to my attention that he and so Paul and I, in his 17 years that he's been with us, have been to 42 countries. We've traveled and seen 42 different parts of the world. And for those who are just starting with us, it ain't stopping. We're just going to have to do some repeats on some of them because we're running out of places to go, places to see. But I've got some pretty exciting things we're going to be talking about. We've got some folks who will be going to Cuba with us, et cetera, et cetera. But we got somebody that's going to be sharing a lot of tools with you. I don't know exactly how to introduce Nicholas and Amy. Robin's going to do it, if you will.
Actually, Nicholas shouldn't even be in this room. I'm going to tell you why. For those of you who have not been around, when Nick came into this business, I know this is repeat for some of you, but his other half was expecting babies. Not just babies, not one, but 2 babies. So that's fine, we knew that going into it. Nick comes on board, he goes through training, they give birth to these beautiful little boys, and then a month after, 2 months later, the mom says, I'm really not cut out for this, and good luck, and here's those 2 little boys, and Nick's like, oh my gosh, I have a new career where I travel, and I go around the world and the country, and now I have 2 little boys, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And we panicked at the office too, because it's like, okay, well this probably isn't gonna work out so good. But blessings from his parents and a great support team and figuring it out, Nick did figure it out. And he found a way to go out, and when I saw him, he was finishing his training, he was at his very last training show, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy's got it. I called the office, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's got it. You know, get his schedule, we gotta get him out there, because you can just tell when somebody's got it. So, that's great, he found a way to do it, but I've always said, gosh, I want Nick to find somebody really wonderful to balance out his life, because I'm kind of like Mama Robin to him. You know, I look at him as my son, I always have. And I thought, he's never gonna find anybody, because who's gonna want a man with 2 little boys that travels across the country? Well, guess what? He found the absolute most perfect woman, and they are probably the most precious couple. She is not only just an incredible mom to these little boys, I see what you do with them, but the support that you give Nick and the business that you're growing together is just tremendous. So Mama Robin gives you my blessings. And they did have their honeymoon in Alaska, and they're the only people that I've ever met that decided to go scuba diving in Alaska. Don't do that again. But I reached out to Nicholas to talk about a subject that is very near and dear to me. I really want everybody in this room to pay attention to it. And the reason being because, you know, we do a lot of video reviews. It's either me or Dave or Mike or me and Mike or me and Dave or you're a team leader. And over and over and over and over again, I see so many people that are not using all the tools that the company has provided for you. And when you look across the room at these pros, these people that have been here 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, these are the people that have tried these tools and have developed these tools and have said, hey, here's something really cool, and this works. You know, if you put this key in the door and turn it, it might open the cell for you. And we refer to it as a toolbox. And we did the ping pong ball challenge. Thank you, Gloria, by the way. I really appreciate you doing that. Because Nick's going to talk about ping pong balls, puzzles, and pennies, and the importance of using all of your tools in your toolbox to get where you want to be. So it's with great pride I introduce Mr. Nicholas Castellano. Thank you. You're awesome. I love you. You're the best.
All right, tools. Mr. Hurley, how long have you been selling cookware?
48 years.
And Mark, how long have you been selling cookware?
41.
This is a culmination of almost 50 years of putting this stuff together for us. And for the people that just came on, including myself 4 years ago, this was hand given to us. I don't have the cookware. Make that cookware? This was given to us as a gift of over 40 years of cookware experience. And we can use it anytime we want. So up and down to the next one.
Hey, let me sit down, actually.
Okay, got it. I got it. Thank you. Jason, can you come up here for a second?
It depends on how you're holding it.
That's right. All right. Jason, he's doing great, by the way.
Yes, he is.
Next Rookie of the Year. Sorry if there's anybody else here that's brand new as well. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. So every single one of these tools is like one of these ping pong balls. Now, if we can hold them all, we have a better chance to sell. So let's look at the first tool, a juicer. We're not going to go in detail with these. We're just going to give you guys a visual. First one, juicer. That's one of your tools right there. All right? What else do we got? We got a paring knife. There's another tool. We got a salad. All right. You guys name them off for me and I'll put the ping pong on. What's the next one?
Hey.
What's the next one?
Peter band.
What's the next one?
Knuckle buster.
What's the next one?
Music.
Next one.
Let's pick this up.
What's the next one?
Magnet.
What's the next one?
$700.
What's the next one? What's the next one?
Flag.
What's the next one? What's the next one? What's the next one? What's the next one? Sometimes they fall off. What's the next one? 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 Next one?
Pictures and slow cook.
All right. Now, if you can hold all these ping pong balls, you have the best chance of selling cookware. And then you're at the New Bern Fair and Hurricane Florence comes in. Or you're at the Texas State Fair and a tropical storm goes up to the Gulf and rains on you for 11 days. They're all gone. So what do you got left? That's about all you got. All he has is smile, good attitude, enthusiasm, good head nod, and grit. Right? Mr. Hurley, when you went door to door after you got your samples and pawned up everything, did you have any of this?
Nothing.
Did you have all of that?
I did.
And that is all you need to sell cookware right here. This is all you need.
Wait a minute. Oh.
Now this helps. Don't get me wrong, it just helps. It's a gift that was given down to us and passed on to the generations, and we're going to use it and not neglect it. Thank you so much, Jason. That's why Mike Wild's here. Love you guys. All right. And great guys, in the beginning, you know, I had the tools, but if there was anything that got me through, it's this last one right here, it's grit. I just never once thought that I was going to fail, and I didn't. So let's see what comes next. Let's talk about these tools and why they're so important. First one, audience building tools. The juicer. Great audience building tool, right? So, juicer, hey, here's a gift. Please watch me. That's basically what you're saying. Hey, here's a free gift. Will you please watch me? And what happens if they say no? Then go to the next one. Oh, you don't like juicers? Okay, here's your free paring knife. And what if they say, oh, I don't need a paring knife? Oh, paring knife? You don't like them? Perfect. What do we got? Salad. We got a salad. You don't like gifts? How about free food? Oh, I'm not looking for a salad. Perfect. Excellent. If you don't like salad, we got cake. Right? So there's all just tools that just lead up to the next one. You might only need one. You might only need one or two. You might have to use all four. Right? And the music. Does anybody know why, any of the new people, anybody that's been here for less than a year, does anybody know why we use music? It's for you. That's right, Dean. It is for you. Play the music you like to hear within reason. It's going to pump you up, right? And I'll tell you what, if it's music that everybody pretty much likes, the people around you are going to love you for it. Because if the music wasn't on, it'd probably sound like the Antiques Roadshow in there, right? So keep the music going, it gets everybody pumped up. And you must pick this up, another good audience building tool. Because what happens if somebody picks it up? A couple things that happen. One, they're interested in cookware. They like cookware. They might not be there to buy cookware, but, oh, cookware? Let me pick this up. Let me see what this does.
Great way to start a conversation.
Great way to start a conversation. What's a great line for that? Have you ever heard of this before? No, I haven't heard of Waddle's cookware. Perfect. Let me do a Waddle's demonstration for you, something like that. And the #1 audience building tool, and this is the best advice I ever got from my first OIC, was I was doing a demonstration, and this was at the Gay Days Festival at the Four Seasons. That was quite a show. And so we're going over the OIC, and I got two people sitting down, and while these two people are sitting down, they're eating salads, and I'm doing the whole bit. Hey guys, come on up and get your free sample. Everybody come on and sit down. And Mr. Hurley stops the tape and he goes, wait a second. He goes, what's the most important thing in your show right now? Those two people that were sitting down. And what was I doing to them? Neglecting them. Yeah, pretending like they weren't good enough to start the show with. So the best advice I ever got in the beginning was start the show and everybody will come. The script is the #1 audience building tool you have. All right? All these will help get the first person down. The script will help to get everybody else to come sit down with you. All right? So when the first two people sit down, when the first person sits down, what do?
Start the show.
You guys are good. All right, what else do we got? Oh, more audience building tools. And this goes back to everything you have. That's not this right here. Your enthusiasm. In the beginning, the first year, all you have is your enthusiasm, your positive attitude. The testimony board. That is just kind of like the you must pick this up. When you see someone at the testimony board, what does that mean, typically? They already own the cookware, or they're interested in the cookware, and they see what other people are saying about it. And what's a good thing to say? Ooh, have you heard of waterless cookware before?
How long have you had yours?
Really? How long have you had it? 30 years, and you still got it? Everybody, this is my brother Brian. He comes every show to brag about the cookware. Go ahead and take a seat, and I'll give you a free cookbook at the end of the show. And hopefully they stick around. It's part of keeping them there. The testimony board, and this is a real important thing. This is one thing I struggled with at the beginning. Smile.
It's your logo.
What's that?
It's your logo.
Yeah, smile.
It's your logo.
I mean, I guarantee you, you'll attract 10 to 1 people if you smile and if you don't smile. So I learned this from my trainer, actually. I had a hard time smiling at the beginning. So he had me put a piece of Scotch tape on the side of my neck, right? So no one could see it. It was behind me, but I could feel it. So that I knew that, and he told me, every time you turn your head, you're gonna hear the Scotch tape crunch, and you're gonna feel it, and let that be your marker to smile, because you're frowning the whole show. All right, the kitchen cutter. Yeah, so guys, you know what I do? When you can't start a show, you know how many salads I've made before I start the show sometimes? I mean, has anybody made 2-3 salads before they got a show off? Shredded up 4 or 5 potatoes. Potatoes cost 49 cents a pound, carrots cost 69 cents a pound. So you might as well shred up some carrots and potatoes, right? What else are you doing? You're not doing a demo. Might as well get one started. All right, so those are your best audience building tools right there. What else do we got? Price conditioning tools. These are very, very important. Red bell pepper, we do that for a couple of different reasons. One of them is price conditioning. What's the other reason we do red bell peppers? Does anybody think of anything besides price conditioning?
Color.
Yeah. Well, what are we doing for the customer? What are we doing with them? Yeah, we're giving them a piece of information they probably didn't know before that's not advantageous to us. Now, it is a price conditioning tool, but we're literally just sharing a piece of information that they may be able to take home with them and go, wow, I never knew that about a red and green bell pepper. Mm-hmm. So it's a great price conditioning tool because it's the first introduction to you get what you pay for. And that's going to be the running theme throughout your demonstration. All-clad, everybody, is there any representatives that are new that do not have an all-clad pan in their booth? Good. You guys want one? The one thing I like about all-clad, it's brand recognition. So most people know what an all-clad pan is, and most people know how much it costs. So that connection between the all-clad pan and our pan is a great price conditioning tool. All right. The testimony. I love asking this question to the testimony. Right after I get over how much they paid, how long they had it, I like to ask, do you remember how much you paid? Because a lot of times they'll exaggerate. A lot of times they'll say, oh yeah, 40 years ago I paid about $1,700. Wow, a lot of money back then.
You did that. I heard you do that. You said, well, your cookware today would be $7,000.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a great price conditioning tool because it gives an idea to the crowd of what they're getting into. You know, this is not cheap cookware without you having to say that. The Williams and Sonoma catalog. So we don't do advertising on TV. You're not going to see us in the store because if we put waterless cookware on a shelf somewhere, no one would know what we're talking about. It would be really hard for waterless cookware to survive on a shelf without being told what it does or brand recognition. So the Williams and Sonoma catalog, just everybody knows what this is, and everybody understands that if you buy something from here, it's top shelf. So this just associates us with top shelf cookware. And Cab, I've never seen anybody use the catalog better than you do. Yeah, it's always good, should be a prop in your show. Does everybody have a Williams and Sonoma catalog? Yeah? Mike, how hard are these to get? I don't know why they're so hard to get. I've went to the store and asked for one. I've tried to order them twice online. By the third time I got them. But if you don't have one, order one. All right.
Thank you, Garcia.
The color brochure, the price conditioning tools. So classic set is cheaper than a good set of Callaway golf clubs. You know, that's if you got somebody that has a Callaway hat on, you're going to use that one. What if somebody has a John Deere hat on? Anybody have a John Deere price conditioning tool in the color brochure?
Yeah.
Anything.
Less than that John Deere riding lawnmower that you drive once a week, 4 months out of the year. These are the tools you're going to use every single day.
Perfect. Double door refrigerator. The family set's less than a double door refrigerator from Best Buy. Purses, vitamins, everything. And everybody, most people would you agree that most people on our show have a Vitamix? Most people on our show have a Vitamix. So if you say that the kitchen cutter is less than the Vitamix that you have in your counter,
Or a chainsaw.
yeah, they know what you're talking about. So you just want to associate your cookware with good things that they have in the home. Now the $700 egg pan, I love this price conditioning tool because once you put the egg on, you can start talking about why this pan costs $700. And when you have that price tag on your egg pan, first people are going to do is they're going to scrunch their eyes. They're going to say $700 for one pan. And then you say, well, wouldn't you guys agree the average egg pan, a Tefal from Walmart or any one of the department stores, is going to run you about $30, $35. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Now the average consumer buys a new egg pan about every 18 months because it's always scratching off. And you got 3 examples right in front of you. Guys, let's do the math. It's called planned obsolescence. So if you buy one $35 pan every 18 months for 35 years, that's $700 for one Teflon pan, and you could have just bought the good stuff the first time. And now what do you have? An egg that doesn't stick, and you're showing it to them. It completely relates it right then and there, and it puts in perspective that this is not a ridiculous number. This is real. This is how much you pay.
It costs more because of the health.
Right. That one, the 1 7-inch egg pan in our classic set is worth $700, and that's a fact.
And no landfill.
No landfill. That's very important too.
That is true.
All right, rapport. This has a lot of things to do with the tools that aren't in our tool bag. So the smile. The easiest way to get somebody to walk up to you is smile. Because if you have a frown, no one wants to be around with anybody with a frown. I have a naturally turned down mouth, so it's really hard for me to keep a smile all day. But I got a piece of tape on the back of my neck right now. So.
Let me see it. Let me see it.
Family pictures. Raise your hand if you got family pictures in the booth. How many times has a picture in your booth started a conversation in your show? Right?
Aunts, uncles.
Right. Right.
Dogs, cats.
How about the fat you picture? That's the best one.
Demo and you'll find a wife.
All right, guys. Family picture is really simple. It makes you human, you know. A lot of people walk into a show and, you know, you're a salesman up there and you're trying to sell a product, and that's what people see on the outside. What they don't see on the inside is that you're a family man or woman, that you have a home, that you pay a mortgage, and that you, and that you know, you have a wife or a husband and kids at home, and you're doing the best you can to make a difference in the world. So that's what that picture is going to do for you. And the good thing about having the picture there is you can also incorporate it into your show. You know, you don't want the show just to be the script. You want to be your story inserted into the script. So everything you say just is a testimony to your own life. Exactly right. All right. Record breaker plaque. I love doing this in my shows. The record breaker plaque, it works because it's And we usually get one at the end of the conference when we do all the record breakers. Guys, take it home, frame it, put it in your show. It's a great way to move into the gifts. Because, you know, after I give away the kitchen cutter, I usually go into the gourmet cooker. And I say, guys, how many people would agree that's really hard to find American-made nowadays? And guys, we're breaking records left and right. I broke 5 records in the booth last year. And when I break records, they allow me to build up incentives and go back throughout the year. Now I can take these incentives and give it to my family, or I can sell them on the side and make some extra money, but I don't feel like I earned them. You guys did, because I broke the records here at this show. So here's what we're gonna do. Since we broke the records at this show, I saved the incentives for here today. And that's a great segue into your last gifts. It makes it believable, and it's the truth. You did break 5 records last year, or whatever it may be. Attitude. I mean, I couldn't think, I mean, you gave the perfect example earlier. Asking somebody how they're doing at a show is probably the worst thing you could possibly do, because there's no good that can come out of it. You know, they're only gonna bring you down. Enthusiasm. You know, raise your hands if you're enthusiastic about the product, right? As a chef, before I worked for Kitchen Craft, I've never heard of Watto's cookware, and never heard of Kitchen Craft. I always knew All-Clad, Le Creuset, they were all the best. As soon as I put Kitchen Craft in my hand, I knew without a doubt that this was the best cookware in the world. And me and Mr. Hurley went to the Culinary Institute of America to tell everybody that just a couple months ago. Because it's one of the best kept secrets in the world. Yeah, in the United States too. So Brian, you truly do make the best cookware in the world. And I can say that with 100% confidence. And that's where mine comes from. All right, the flag, my favorite thing to do in the show. How many people love to wave that flag? Everybody loves it, don't they? Patriotism is like the best thing in the world, especially in our show, because it's really the one thing in the show. It doesn't matter where you come, it brings you together. I mean, how many times have you had people that barely spoke English in your show, and you pull that flag out, and they're standing up and clapping louder than everybody else, because I think they appreciate what we have more than we do sometimes. So, guys, if you got them, you're always going to have a mixed crowd. Do never be weary about waving that flag. Waving that flag is going to be the one thing that brings your crowd together. Go ahead, David.
You want to find a patriotic person, find somebody who came here and went through what it takes to become a citizen. We take it for granted.
Exactly.
They do not.
Exactly.
Not the NFL players.
All right, red bell pepper. We already went over that. And the name tag. Why is the name tag important? Connection, right? It tells the customer, I'm not afraid to show who I am before you've even asked me. My name's Nicholas Cassiano. I'm smiling and I'm having a good time. Will you come sit with me so I can show you what this cookware does? It's really all I mean, without saying a word, it's what it does at the very beginning. Right?
I'm going to move my name up to the countertop.
Value building tools.
Good for you.
The kitchen cutter saves time and money. All right, the beater pans. I really love bringing out the beater pans, and I love the beater pans even more since I've seen Mark do it at the Texas State Fair. He calls it the evolution of cookware. And guys, what the beater pans are doing, it's really educating the customer on what is available to them, and it's also letting them know that they deserve better than that. You know, because everybody in our audience has pulled a set of this out of their cabinet, and they don't like it at all. So the beater pans, you know, a lot of people, I mean, at the beginning, I remember I tried to skip over it because I didn't think it was that important. Now I spend a little bit more time on them because I really think that educates the customer quite a bit on what's really going on. Right. The knuckle buster. Love this joke too. hits every time, never fails. It's all about the right tool for the job. And it's just like the beater pans, it always relates to the customer because every single person has one. So they know that they're not alone, and they know that you've been there too, and you've come out of it. All right, the egg pan, went over that. The pill plate. Now, you notice when he was putting the ping pong balls on, you notice how some of them was falling off while he was doing it? The pill plate at the beginning fell off of me. It took, I mean, guys, when something falls off, it takes a long time to get it back on. The pill plate fell off of me, and it took about a year to get it back on, but I can honestly say that it will never leave my script again, because when you got that pill plate in front of the customer and you're showing it with the food, and you really bring up, hey guys, let me ask you, which one of these do you think is healthier for you? This one or this one? Which one do you think tastes better? Which one costs more? Guys, this is a rising cost in healthcare right here, and this is God's business. We just don't want to pour the goodness down the drain. Yeah. Thank you, Mark Timmer's, for that pill plate. That was yours, right? Mark? Or doesn't have his hearing in.
No!
All right. All right, the slow cooker. All right. Mr. Hurley, when should we pull out the slow cooker? When should we pull out the slow cooker?
They won't like my answer.
I always started
It should be pulled out in the very beginning of the show.
Yeah. You know what I would do? If I was going to move this around a little bit, I would take this out of value building tools and I would put it into audience building tools.
Know what I'm making, come look.
Yep. You know what? Because when I've made 2 salads and I cut up 3 potatoes and I'm trying to get away the juicers and nothing works,
Open that.
I pull it out and I open it up and I put the panhandler on it and I just get up there and start building another plate
When
again.
someone says, what's for supper? You say, well, come look.
Exactly. And when that pot's open, they will come and look inside. Yeah, so that slow cooker not only doesn't build value when you're giving away the gifts, but it also does a really good job of building an audience.
And I just want to say, Nick, because sometimes the smell good looks great, and smells good, but if it isn't something visual, they don't get it, though it smells good. But if you see that chicken that smells good, that's a big wow factor. So whatever you're making, it needs to be very visual for them to see, like, oh, that's a whole chicken? Because otherwise you make a bunch of stuff and it smells good, but it doesn't look the same as that big 7-pound chicken in a 4-quart pot.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon.
You know what they call that? Blivet.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I was one of the ones that loved the surprise, the wow of the gourmet. Well, you didn't know I was cooking back here. And so I was very, I don't want to say resistant, but...
Resistant.
Thank you. I didn't like showing it in the beginning or in the middle. I love showing it at the end for the wow.
Yeah.
But now, somebody talked me into doing it more often. I bring it out middle, beginning, middle, and end. And it's still a big wow factor at the end, even for the people that saw it earlier. So I do it.
And thank you, Charlie. And I guarantee if you start an audience with a slow cooker and they sit down, when you bring it out just before you do the prices, they will have forgot it was even there and it'll have just as much effect. Yeah. And the reason I like to pull out the slow cooker just before I go into prices is for a very specific reason that was taught to me. There's something that you would call a meter. It's kind of like these ping pong balls, you know? Let's say there's 100 ping pong balls that we can use, and let's say if you have 51 in your hands, they're gonna buy. Now, when we go into the prices, they're gonna lose some enthusiasm. There's nothing we can do about it. The price is the price. So if they're gonna lose 20 ping pong balls, and we have 65 ping pong balls, and we have 65 ping pong balls by the time we go into the prices, they are not going to buy. Because their meter is going to go below 50 and it's going to hit 45. So what we want to do before we go to prices is build so much value, so much wow, so much enthusiasm that when their meter goes down, it's still above 50%. So that way they'll buy. So I like to pull the slow cooker up just before I go into prices, just to kick the meter up a little bit. So, what's that?
To remind them.
To remind them, yeah. The Williams in Sonoma. Now, if you don't have a, you got to know where your city is too, because a lot of cities don't have Williams in Sonoma. If you got one, good. You still want to use the catalog, because people still understand the name. But if you don't have Williams in Sonoma, you have to know what the department store is in the city. Whether it be Macy's, a lot of cities don't have Macy's. So you gotta go Belt, you always gotta go Sur La Table, whatever it is for that city. But you wanna make sure your customers know that when they think about the best, we are right there with them. All right, testimonies. The number one thing outside ourselves that sells cookware. You do whatever you can to keep those testimonies to the end. Whatever you can. Promise them the world. Tell them you'll give them a $10 bill at the end. Don't you think if your testimony say to the very end it'd be worth $10 every single demonstration? Every single one. Because, guys, those are the people, I'm not going to go to testimonies too much because we went over it, but those are the people that the people believe.
We have no commission to earn on it.
Yeah.
No reason to do it.
You know, we're just a salesman up there. We're trying to get them to believe that we're here and we're truthful people and this is the right product for them. But the testimony has nothing to gain from this, and the customer knows that. Antique cookware, we got some. Yeah. Antique cookware. I love bringing this stuff out, especially it says, oh, we got the one with the valve on the top. And then I pull it out, you mean this one right here? And they go, oh yeah, that's my pot. They love that. And what you can do, guys, is you can use that as a value building tool as well. And to say, have you ever had to replace a knob or a handle for your cookware? And it goes, oh yeah, handle came loose one time, but they just went ahead and sent me a new one and replaced it. And does anybody have one of those old aluminum cookwares from, you got one? Yeah, I got one too. And guys, it's a great value building tool because you can pull it out and say, hey guys, this cookware is 87 years old, the aluminum stuff. Now guys, we don't make this cookware anymore, but if anything happens, lid stops or handles at all, guess what you get? We don't replace this. We just go ahead and give you the new stuff. That's for the aluminum stuff, right, Brian? We'll talk. All right. What else we got? All right. Why use the tools? I like this part. Because your family depends on it. How many people's here family depends on them selling cookware? Raise your hand. That's a good reason to use the tools, huh? What's another reason to use the tools? The people in the factory depend on it. Brian, how many people are in the factory making the cookware nowadays?
15 on the floor.
15? And what's the average age of those people?
Higher than I'd like.
Higher than you'd like. So they got grandkids. And some kids, some of them have grandkids that have grandkids. These people are raising their family on this stuff, guys. If we're not out there selling cookware, then guess who doesn't get third shift? Or guess who doesn't have a job anymore if there's no cookware left to sell, guys? This is really important. It's bigger than just our families. It's everybody here's families. It's everybody's at the factory's families, and it's everybody at the office's families. So we really have a lot of weight on our shoulders when it comes to getting out there and selling the cookware. So the next time you're sitting in your booth and you're feeling bad about yourself and you feel like this doesn't work anymore, get up there and do this group. I promise you it works because all these people depend on you to do it. You know, the reason that we have time to ourselves during the week is because the offices take care of shipping and accounting and customer service. The reason why we are in this all together, what if the factory didn't use their tools? What if Brian was sending out faulty cookware and it was getting it sent back? You know, they use all the tools they have available to them. And I think it's very important to us. And here's another person that depends on it, your customer. Guys, how many people would agree that every person in your audience that's ever sat down would be better off if they had kitchen craft wireless cookware? I mean, what a huge responsibility. So we're responsible for a lot more than just ourselves and our families. We're responsible for everybody that sits in our audience because it's our job to give it to them. They want it. We just got to give it to them the right way. All right. It create a memory. It create an heirloom that they passed on to the family. You might have a lady that comes back and lost 170 pounds. It'd create better health. Here's what I really like. It'd be better use of their money. I mean, the entire time we're trying to impress on people that, you know, they have the money, and there's no doubt in my mind that this is probably the best use of their money at the time. And they're more educated once they experience the demonstration. Why use the tools? Well, the tools tell the story so your audience can clearly understand. I feel like people nowadays, they really respond to props. These props help tell the story. So when you hold up that applause sign, they're going to applause. You know, when you hold up that flag and wave it, they're going to applause as well. And when they see signs like this, they respond to it. So guys, all these tools just help the customer understand the story you're trying to tell. The same with the knuckle buster and the beater pants. It just puts everybody in perspective, everything in perspective. And guys, I started this at the beginning, but here's another really good reason to use these tools is because there's several people in this room that took decades of trial and error that developed these tools for this script. They've been given this to as a gift, and everybody here is better off for it. Everybody here, I'm 100% confident in saying this, has a better career now than the one they just came for. And we don't want any of these tools to be left out in vain because a lot of people depend on it. So, why not use the tools? Why not? Why wouldn't you? Why don't you just let them sit there? You know? If you use 10 of these tools, will you sell cookware? Yeah. But if you use all the tools, it's a 100% guarantee that you'll sell more. All right? One more thing I want to show you. Jason, one more time. Grab as many ping pong balls as you can. All right, this is for the trainees. All right? Now, there's 100 ping pong balls that represent all these tools. At the beginning, this is the most you can grab because we're trying to eat an elephant here. And you can only do it one bite at a time. All right? So he has as much as he can handle on his plate in the beginning. And slowly, he'll figure out a way, put them in your chest, cradle them in one arm, pick up a ball, put it in there. Some are gonna fall. Put more in there, and slowly you can add more and more onto your repertoire. That's fine, that's fine. That's perfect. So guys, at the beginning, guys, that's as much as you can handle, but remember, that's more than you need, because at the beginning, you got your smile, you got your head nod, you got your enthusiasm, and you got your attitude, and that's really all you need. And what? Grit. Grit, that's correct, that's correct.
You only need to use them as you need them too. So
Yeah.
you know, you don't have to use them every show, only as needed. Pull out what you need. That's in that.
That's where you put them in your pocket.
Yeah, right there. Bring them out as needed.
Yeah. So guys, that's the tools.